What up?
It's Justin.
Okay, now, this time we're going to be shifting gears once again to readiness in your body. As Americans, this is the tough one. Not because we're all overeating or anything like that anymore. It's not that simple anymore. It's just the fact that most of your food is just flat out poison. But anyway, that'll be a video for another day. Let me first make a case as to why this is so important. If you are not physically able to do what God is telling you to do, then you're not ready. Now, this is different from having a chronic condition from an accident or something genetic, anything like that. This is just understanding how high a priority it is to maintain your frame. So, there's a passage that talks about how
man of sin comes down to the temple, and this is the Antichrist.
Okay, now, setting aside all the deeper theology of this, I understand. We'll get into that maybe some other time on some other platform. But, setting aside, the instructions were to leave what you have behind you, basically grab an emergency bag and head towards the mountain. If you are not physically able to head towards the mountain, aside from certain afflictions like chronic pain from accidents and things like that, but you just did not think it was that big a priority to head towards the mountain and be ready for that, that is a passive sin. That is a passive sin. So, this is why it's so important. If God commands you to do something, and because of a sugar addiction, or because I love this particular food, or this is serving me some kind of emotional balance in my life, rather than it being the King of Glory, if you're doing those types of things, then that's where the problem comes into play. Now, I would suggest and pray that God would open your eyes to just how important your physical health is. So some of you might be saying by looking at me,
oh, Justin, that's easy for you to say because, you're already thin.
Thin does not mean healthy. Thin does not mean healthy. I was thinner than this. About almost 40 pounds thinner than this. And then I started to have problems. I started to have problems where I was falling asleep all the time. I was having problems and that I was just kind of aching. I was having all these problems. Most people do what most of you guys probably do too. You have someone in your ear whispering to you,
"Oh man, getting old."
At that time, I was about maybe 37 or 38. So I had all these people saying that, hey, you might be getting, this disease, or you might be getting that disease, all this stuff, right? And I was like, you know what? I just don't receive that in Jesus' name. So I began to get proactive about what it is that I was doing. I was like, okay, there's things in my body that have changed, and therefore, maybe I need to make some adjustments, right? Because I am getting older. But is it that I'm getting older, or is that the accumulation of abuse that I've had over a period of time has just caught up with me? It was the latter, spoiler alert. So I began to change my diet more and more and more and learn about these health things and things like that, And once I began to understand how my body actually worked and how nutrition actually worked and things like that, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and implement this. Not for the sake of,
let me be healthy so I can be a big sexy man.
No. So I can physically have the ability to do my assignment that God is wanting me to do. Hence what this entire series is about, readiness. So what I did was I took control of that. I didn't receive diagnoses or whatever else, They can hint at something, but a lot of times it's up to us to change some things in order to correct that. It's not a death sentence. It's not a death sentence. So then, I'm going to be going over for a few more episodes about not just the case for readiness in your body, but just some very, very simple things, because I know that health can be so overwhelming. Eat this, don't eat this, watch your macros. I needed something that was going to be simple and efficient, because I like simple and efficient. I've got enough things to think about anyway, I promise you. Okay, so what are some simple things? And I have some simple things that can lead you to a healthier lifestyle on a general tip. But don't look at me as being a physician or a nutritionist, especially a nutritionist. Okay, so then I want you guys to at least open yourselves up to changing the way that you look at food, changing the way that you look at nutrition, changing the way that you look at your body, and saying that this is a vessel, this is the hands and feet right here. If I'm not taking care of this, then what am I doing here? Right? There is a divine assignment on your life, and I want you to take care of yourself so that on earth as it is in heaven. These are the goals of readiness, on earth as it is in heaven. But if the earth vessel ain't taken care of, ain't gonna be no earth to heaven. It's just gonna be heaven, and you're probably gonna be up there sooner than later. Okay. I love y'all very much. I'll catch you in the remix. Bye-bye.